In this video, I'm going to show you a really interesting way to use AI to explore your subconscious mind. First, we will take a log of our dreams and visualize them as a knowledge graph so we can see the main concepts and topics that tend to come up throughout our dream experience. Then we will ask InfraNodus to generate an outline of those topics and patterns that tend to come up in dreams, and then feed them into Google Gemini Veo video generation model so that we can generate a visualization of an amalgamation of our dreams, and that will provide us a really nice overview of what we're dreaming about, a visual overview. And I will demonstrate how you can do that with your own dreams, but you can also use your own notes or any ideas that you have. And I think it's a very good way to explore anything you're thinking about, because unlike a pure textual format, the graph allows you to see the main topics inside. I will also show you how you can slice off the top layer from the graph so you can reveal what's hiding underneath and get to the deeper topics, and how you can then generate an interesting prompt that takes those different topics into account and generates a nice overview that you can use for inspiration or for generating more visual ideas, or maybe even getting into certain aspects of your subconscious and exploring them deeper using the graph as well. So if you're interested, keep watching and I will demonstrate how it works. Also, please subscribe to this channel so that it can get recommended to other people who are interested in this content and to support my work as well. A little bit about myself. I'm Dimitri. I'm the developer of this app that you see right now on the screen, InfraNodus, that visualizes text as a network and shows you the main ideas and represents it as a knowledge graph. So you can see how the different ideas relate and also which clusters they form. So here I have a graph that I visualized using InfraNodus from my dreams that I recorded in Evernote. And actually, if you want to do the same thing, you can go to the apps page and then go to analyze text. And then here we have external sources, and you can connect it to your Evernote vault. And then you can select which graph you want to import in, maybe some new graph, and then you can select one of the notebooks. So I store my dreams in the same notebooks, and then I can visualize it as a graph. So here I have the visualization of the dreams. I think these are some dreams from some time before. It's not the most recent ones, but basically what InfraNodus does is that it represents this as a graph with the concepts. You can also do entity extraction, so the graph is less dense, but I like to work on this granular level of words because then the information is much more detailed. And then InfraNodus shows you what are the main concepts inside and which clusters they form and how they relate to one another. And so you can see that, for example, in my dreams, I've been dreaming about festival dynamics, so a lot of celebration, then curious discoveries. I was discovering some interesting stuff. Here we have this cluster here, meeting moments and playful beginnings, and then there are more topics here, meaningful connections, rooms, spaces, decision motion, and so on, right? So then it gives you like a nice visual overview of what I've been dreaming about, and this is already a really nice way to get into my subconscious and understand which images tend to come up on a recurrent basis, right? So for example, I see it's a lot about encountering people, it's about some playful interactions, discoveries, and for you, you might find out something really interesting as well if you just run a log of your dreams whenever you remember them, put them into the same notebook, can be in Evernote, Obsidian, or just a text file, and then at some point when you have a few, visualize them, and you'll see that you will find some really interesting insights about yourself, because you will tend to dream about certain things more than others, and that means that your unconscious is going in that direction and wants to explore it. And so my idea was like, okay, what if I take all these patterns and then create a video using Google Gemini Veo from it? So what I did, I went to AI Insights panel in InfraNodus, and then here we have a function actually summarize topics. So if you click on that button in the analytics panel on the right, it will just create an AI generated summary of all the main topics that were discovered in this graph. So it kind of first builds this graph structure and then understands what are the different clusters of ideas that tend to occur together in the same context. And then it generates a nice outline, and it's this outline that you can use to actually generate the video. So it takes some time to think because it's quite a lot of information, but in the end you will have an outline of each topic here, and sometimes they will be slightly different from what you have here, but structurally it's going to be very similar. So you just copy this here, this output, and then you go to Google Gemini, and here you just make a prompt and you choose that you want to use Google Gemini. They only allow you 3 generations per day. If you want to have more generations, Google has another tool called Flow. It's available also if you're a subscriber to Gemini, and you just go to Flow in Google Labs, And then there I think is unlimited. You just make a new project and then you can generate a video. And then you can just prompt it. And the easiest way, of course, is just to say, generate a video that will cover all these different topics. And then you can also add something about the aesthetics you want. But for example, if you just want this, then you run it and then it's going to take some time to generate. So I'm going to go back to my Google Gemini where I generated it and just show you the video that came up from this outline, right? So here you see the main topics were routine escape, so escaping the routine, social encounters, body freedom, family dynamics, hotel chaos, political despair, island escape, and so on. So you see like a lot of themes of celebration, but also escape, anxiety and pleasure, all the typical stuff for dreams, I think, right? And then it kind of gives like a nice summary, you know, which follows this trajectory also. Starting from this celebration, escaping the routine, and then encounters, and then kind of like going back into nature and flowing. So I think it's a little bit of a generic representation visually, but it's quite precise in terms of the summary. And so then with a few tweaks, which you can then do further by asking it to change the aesthetics, or maybe to elaborate on a certain aspect of this video, then you can start exploring your unconscious visually. And what's great is that you have the graph to help you do that. And that's another really amazing feature of the graph, because here I can say like, okay, what if I'm interested on this idea of playful beginnings? So I can select just this topic here and then ask it to show a little bit more nodes in the graph so I can see everything that relates to this. And then I can go back to AI Insights and just ask it to summarize this topic only, right? So I just ask it, okay, I'm focusing now your attention on this topic of playful beginnings, and I want you to write a summary for me just of that aspect of my dreams. And this is something that you can do using the graph that is not so easy to do with ChatGPT, because in ChatGPT you will just put it in and then ask it to generate an outline, and then you have to read through the whole text to extract the actual topics. Here you already have this visual representation, so it's quite easy to understand, you know, what you want to focus on, what's relevant for you. So here I focus on playful beginnings. It gives me a nice outline, and then I select it here, and then I go to my Google Gemini, for example. Here I think I used all the credits for today, so then you would go into something like Flow, and then, you know, then create a new video based on this prompt, right? And then it will take some time to do it, and then you will just have a video of your dream patterns generated just from this aspect, which is quite nice. Here it was something about nice interaction with the girl, so I hope it's nothing too revealing about myself from my dreams, but let's see what it comes up with. I'm happy to expose myself in this way. It's just a dream, and it's also just some dreams, just a disclaimer. It's not all the dreams I'm having, okay? Just so that you don't judge me on this. But then if I want to escape from this topic, I also have another really interesting approach where I can take away like the top layer of meaning and explore what is underneath. So this is also like another thing what those graphs are really good for, because, okay, like obviously I dream a lot about people and realizations, right, in my case. So I'm going to select these nodes and then I click here to remove them. And then the whole thing recalculates new topic, structure for all the different new concepts that pop up at the surface. And here you actually have this button that automatically removes the top layer of concepts. So for example, you see the bigger ones are the more relevant ones. And here we have like kind, find, note. So we can actually get rid of them too, just by clicking this button. It slices the top layer of meaning. And I actually like to do it until I reach optimal topical diversity here. So what that means is that the graph becomes optimally connected in the sense that it's not too interconnected and it's not too dispersed. So there are distinct topical structures available inside that are connected but that are also separate from each other. So it's kind of like the sweet spot that you want to hit. So you can click this button until this topical diversity reaches the green here, optimal, and then it means that you kind of got to the deepest layer of the dreams that are maybe not so much on the surface. And then it's going to generate an outline of these topics for you, which are much deeper, much more meaningful maybe for you, because they're not touching just on the surface level, but more specific experiences from the dreams. And then you can copy that and then go back to here and then generate another one just from these, right? So then you can sort of keep on doing this until you reach some really interesting results. And let's see what it generated for me. I find that actually Flow in Google Labs is a bit more generic in terms of the quality, so I like to use Gemini more. It's more specific. I also like what comes out from Sora, by the way, because as you can see, it has a little bit more of a specific style. The Flow videos look a bit like adverts, but Gemini is kind of nice, more or less neutral style. You can still see it's AI, but it's good for inspiration, I think. But let's see what Flow generated from this very last one that I made. Let's see. So there's this festival, nature escape,
is exactly what got you
and then look, this performance aspect where there's like a weird thing happening. I saw there was one topic on that topic.
Carefree attitude is exactly
So
what
this is quite interesting because then I could take this image and say, okay, let's elaborate further on this. And that means I would develop my dream into some visual, or maybe I have an idea for how to present it live, or maybe even just seeing it will already allow this image to come back in my dream more and more. So this is an open question, but I think it opens up a lot of potential by projecting your dreams, then finding the parts that you need using the graph and kind of like getting into them very precisely, and then generating videos, and then sort of creating that feedback loop with your subconscious in order to get deeper into certain aspects of your dreams and what you're thinking about. So I hope you like this use case. Let me know what you think about it, and if you tried it with your own dreams, and how also using the graph maybe helps you discovering certain relations or patterns that you were not aware of. I would be very curious to hear. And also, like I said, it doesn't have to work only for your dreams, can also be used for your notes or just ideas that you write down. And I think it's a very nice workflow where you can translate your insights into visuals and then feed them back to yourself and use them for inspiration. Thank you.